force him to warp cards from his hand. Why is this effective? Well, it's not discarding cards. So if he gets rid of any of the Demon Clan cards, his cards like Symbol, Tambourine, etc., they're going to be less effective, especially when we're talking about swapping cards from your hand into your life, right? So right now, the biggest issue for King Piccolo is the card quality, right? If you're going to remove the majority of your drops, you're not going to really have battle cards to play the game. You're playing against green. Green's main ability is to destroy battle cards, KO battle cards as well, right? We know that KP takes time to get started. It's really in the midst of his game, turn 3, turn 4. That's where KP is really bustling, right? It has to use a few turns, especially depending on what time, whether it's on the play or the draw. It has to use a few turns to awaken and to gain a lot of that ability. So because of such, you know, that's one of the biggest issues. If Raditz is going to be able to net 3 or 4 attacks, 2 to 3 attacks before that happens, he's going to have to get rid of decent cards in his hand in ways of extra cards, unison cards, or other battle cards that don't necessarily work fully in tandem with his engine. Because if he removes most of his engine, what happens is that now the deck becomes a lot less potent in what it wants to do, right? You don't want to pay energy to drop these battle cards. You want these cards in your life, you want to combo with them, and you want to come out for free. That's the name of the game. Now, on the other side, red player is going to have to look at Raditz and say, hey, this is exactly what I anticipate. They're going to be able to control my hand. They're going to be able to KO battle cards. And I don't want to stay in a game with this leader for very long, right? So this is just kind of the things that we're going to...
Right, and I think you pretty much summed it up. So we got Jonathan Lama on the left versus StMikal. StMikal went first, so we're going to call him Michael for all intents and purposes.
What's up, Shadow?
He went and
what is up, guys?
He went first, and you see him charging that 1-drop Raditz, and that Raditz is amazing because when your opponent has, he draws 1 card for every, he draws 2 cards for every 4, I forget, but he's broken.
He draws 1 card for every 2 cards in your opponent's
Every 2 cards in
non-black battle cards.
Correct, exactly. So that's really good.
And this is good too.
Wait, let me finish. And we got Jonathan on the field, and he,
the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So we got Jonathan on the field, and he's you know he's going second, obviously. Starts his turn, and you see him charging that extra card, which is that contemplate, which is really good. Probably going to be good in this matchup. And excuse me, guys. And he drops his piano, and you know King Piccolo turn 1, you want to have your piano, and he was able to attack and draw a card, which was great. And you see him placing that that whatchamacallit in there.
Now back on the Raditz side, Raditz goes ahead and he's able to drop this 8, which is really good. And so now he's gonna go ahead and swing, and let's see what he gets rid of. He goes ahead and gets rid of Namekian, which is again a part of his engine. So long as he has enough cards, he's gonna be able to hold that up. However, you know, this is where he has to metabolize, hey, I'm going to have to choose which cards I'm going to lose, and they cannot be very, very important cards, right?
Exactly, correct. And, you know, what's even more important is to understand that, you know, this matchup is going to be a little bit weird for King Piccolo. Once King Piccolo establishes his units, and he'll be able to draw more cards, and that way he'll be able to just pick and choose at his leisure. Raditz, however, you know, has to be careful. He's charging these 1-drops. I don't really agree with them because I know later on in the game, being able to draw 5, 6, 7 cards is going to be very powerful.
Right. As well as keeping up with King Piccolo.
And even see him drop his 2-drop unison right here.
Right.
It's gonna go ahead and uptake
one of the biggest things that, you know, Raditz is going to have to deal with is the fact that when King Piccolo combos, he's going to get in a card on his opponent's turn. So ultimately, Piano is going to be the saving grace in order to keep his hand size full, but keep it, but obviously his hand size is still going to be kind of under control, if you get what I'm saying. This Raditz is going to swing, force him to roll up a card, and then Piano would combo and get him a card, which means that at least his hand is going to, you know, be alright.
Exactly. Yeah, so this is a very big turn for him.
Goes ahead and puts,
and this is where the pressure is going to start happening. You know, this is a green deck, so we can you know, expect some type of defense. But John's hands is really big right now.
What?
And, you know, it's going to go ahead and attack lead. And I would have even used the 8 just to get some more hand power. Because if you don't have nothing to use the energy on this turn, especially, then it makes sense to just go ahead and draw those extra cards. So at least you don't have to use that energy next turn.
Well, Raditz does, Raditz does untap 1 energy, so that would have been ineffective, right? It would have been very effective for him to use the 8, take the damage, but then again, take the damage and then awaken.
The 2 energy on the turn. Now it's his turn. He passes, and he doesn't want to awaken him just yet. Which is pretty smart.
Which is it's pretty smart, but it's also very interesting that he's choosing not to do that at the same time.
So he summons his 3-drop Unison, and oh man, drawing those 2 cards the turn before would have been amazing because you would be up in hand. You have your Unison, so this is going to be big because his Unison can uptake and just pick random cards to the warp, right?
Yeah, but not only that, when he awakens, right now he has the Unison with a specified cost of 3, which allows him to awaken at 5 life. And now when he awakens, he's going to be able to swing, take a card from his hand, he's going to gain critical. And what happens here now is that, obviously, if he
does he automatically gain critical, or do you have to have 4 cards in the war?
Yeah, I believe if your opponent has 4 more non-black cards in the war. Okay, so it's not going to be critical just yet, but this is pretty effective. He has options right now. He can play a little bit of neutral game, which would be attacking into his Unison, shutting out his ability to draw and place more cards on board, and also just getting those cards. There we go, losing some extra cards like Violent Rays, etc. Because again, he does not want to lose these powerful cards that belong to his engine. Right. So this should go towards his Unison.
Yeah, I definitely think stalling the game as much as possible. I know his 3-drop can either warp a card from the hand or
puts a life into his hand. That's pretty rough.
I know the Unison can either warp a card from the hand, or I'm not sure if it can warp a battle card. I'm not sure if it's actually removal, but I guess he uptakes on a Unison and goes to 4, and he did attack. And I don't know StMikal's game plan, but I definitely went towards Unison. Keep that Unison at bay. And we see this negate coming out.
This is rough. We should see a Frieza counter play here. Just dealing with a double strike and having to potentially go down to 3 life and or lose your Unison is pretty rough. If he has to invest another 3 energy next turn to drop his Unison, that's gonna be a little bit rough because right now, as you can see, he doesn't have a board. King Piccolo's board can get crazy very, very fast.
Right.
And if you don't have access to stuff like Dormant, etc., you're gonna deal with it. So goes ahead, drops the Frieza. Frieza's gonna go ahead and get rid of that, what should be the double strike. But yep, that's the better play. And I think at this point his turn just kind of ends. So he +1, and what did he do? He took a card from hand?
Yes, he took a card from hand. Now, Jonathan did miss his Unison's effect. He is supposed to KO that Frieza because he did counterplay, but it is choose up to, so...
Right.
Making sure you're being as aware as possible on your effects to just give you an advantage. Because if he has, if Michael has that Zamasu for next turn, it just will, unless you neg Zamasu, it's just gonna be wonderful for this guy. You'll be able to tap 1 and then tap 2 for an ape, have 3 open, have a dormant and everything. So he's gonna go ahead and attack with King Piccolo, and this is gonna be good because he's gonna be able to actually swap 3 cards in his hand for 3 life.
The dormant
and gets to kill the piano
before he swaps, which means now piano gonna come back. He misses that effect because he dies before the auto triggers. He remembers his auto, which is going to KO the Frieza. That's kind of sucks because at least he could have used the 5K, but we do understand that he has to make sure that his opponent is not going to put too much pressure on him.
I don't think you're dormant though, because I see, you're at
5 life.
Yeah.
Well, if that attack was towards leader, you have to understand that, when do you dormant? Right now you were able to. Did he shut off the piano and piano came back? Did he KO the piano?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
If not, then piano. Wow, he didn't. So did he? I'm not sure.
He only has 2 on tap, so I'm assuming he did. But okay, I can see why he dormanted, because obviously this guy's gonna go ahead and summon.
And he has 3 energy.
Right.
I mean, if he just he can tap out again. Like, what risk does King Piccolo have at this point, right?
King Piccolo, very
he
powerful.
can tap out for a pan, you know, give everything double strike, you know, and just move very fast. He taps one energy, and this should be, ooh, focused breakthrough. Is that focused breakthrough? Wow, and look, we got a visit from the cat. We got to clip that. The cat was not having it. He saw a piano and the other demons on the board, and he was like, nah, we're not doing this.
We see the focus breakthrough, and that's why I don't think Dormanton was the best. But it's fine.
Now,
can you activate?
Wait,
he went to... he activated a focus breakthrough for 1 energy?
Yeah, but I thought it could only be used if he was at 4 less.
4 less life, right?
So I just want to make sure. Let's just go ahead and... if your leader card is green and your life is at 4 or less, the battle card being played has an energy cost of 3 or less.
I think he took the damage off the attack and then activated the focus breakthrough.
Oh, okay, fair, yeah. Oh, so that was actually focus breakthrough was really powerful in this matchup for him. Obviously, he doesn't have a multicolor card, so he can't use it for free. But being able to tap that 1 energy to stop these powerful battle cards from coming into play, that's really important. That's a very viable counterplay card, especially against King Piccolo.
Right.
Yeah, that Mikasa mat is...
So he's going to turn 4, and this could be powerful. He did charge a Ribrianne, and I guess that's fine because Ribrianne is too much of an energy investment right now. You know, so he did charge that, and he's going to go ahead and uptake on Unison, and
this is why I wish he didn't charge those Raditz.
And now he's going to summon the Vegeta, and he gets to discard another card. And this is where we're going to start to see the hand control kind of going into effect.
And this is why neutral game is so important. This is why attacking into that Unison was so important. You know, what's your biggest threat against King Piccolo? Just their battle cards, right? Maybe a Fool Shrouded, but there's no real threat, right? You just have to defend these battle cards, right? You have to stop their frequency of attacks, but their battle cards are not crazy big outside of Tambourine and King Piccolo, Piccolo Jr., goes ahead and drops that. So he's going to be able to get rid of the super combo, which is rough, but he's able to pitch 2 cards. And if he turned all these attacks into the Unison, 1, 2, 3, 4, not enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not enough to kill the Unison. So I guess you just gonna have to lead at this point and just make him, force him to
yeah, because you're a 15k leader, so at this point it just
I mean, he's going to be able to get free value in the form of piano, but
so
that's
he
okay.
Does have 4 cards in the warp. Did he tap out?
Yeah,
he taps out for
and that's fine. So long as he has a Frieza and a Dormant, he should be okay, right? As long as again the double strike battle card is the biggest issue, because there's more lethality. But other than that, I think that he's okay. Now on the King Piccolo side, he's sitting pretty with 6 markers. I mean, he can blow up a board. The Unison is already going to KO this battle card. If
we see a Toa, and he did it already. So we see this hand control starting to actually.
What's scary though?
Yeah, see, that's why turn 2 using that 8 would have been beautiful.
But what's really scary though, I'm not gonna lie, is if he gets topoed right here, this is just rough, right? Like, I do wish he would have attacked with the leader first, got some stimuli first, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, you attack with lead first.
Obviously.
And he make him warp a card. If he topos, he just goes nag.
Yeah.
But John is looking pretty good still. Oh, we see the hand.
Oh, that,
wow,
you hate to see
that's
that
beautiful.
happen.
That's beautiful for
That's
John.
rough. That is so rough.
That's beautiful for John.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because these matchups have been good deck versus not so good deck. So commentary has been very. I'm rooting for both players. It's interesting to see Raditz.
No, I'm just saying, on each player's point of view.
Yeah.
You know what we're metabolizing, what we're taking them. Yeah, that's definitely rough. Especially dropping a triple attack.
So that's why attacking with maybe Rosie first. He can still attack with Unison.
Yeah, but what's so bad is that you're playing against a deck.
Well, you don't draw, John, cause you draw from piano. Draw from PM, I believe. Right? Which is...
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. You draw from PM.
And there we go. Look at him just building his board. You have to have a freezer here. He should have comboed off the battle card. That way he could have sent it to the drop. This is rough. His hand is low. He has to have a dormant here or it's game over.
And this is the reason why charging those Raditz early is also not good and not using the 8.
Right.
Yeah.
And King Piccolo showing you just how powerful he truly is. You know, the deck just able to reset. Once that 3 to 4 energy range, King Piccolo's really going to be able to be in the game. You know, the burden of success was honestly on Raditz. Raditz had to play.
And this is where we see King Piccolo just driving so well. When you look at his board, this is what, you know, going wide and just, you know, being a 20k leader every turn with that free combo. And just gonna go ahead and attack.
And here comes a Goku. Here comes a Goku.
Comes the Goku.
Goku's gonna here we come. This is rough. Now you do get a counter, but he didn't have the dormant. You tapped out and didn't have the dormant. That's really rough.
Yep. So he goes to 3, and no matter what, he can still be killed through the dormant.
Oh, at this point now, yes, because he has access to the double strike. At this point, John, you would just attack with the double striker. His hand is so low that you don't play games. You attack with the double striker. That shuts out his blocker negate if he has the homicidal clones. You know, that shuts out homicidal clones. I guess it doesn't matter anymore, but.
And this is pretty much looking like it's.
So we should see a homicidal clones if he has it.
Oh wow, he's drawing.
No. John cannot draw cards. Wow, this is rough. Yeah.
I think you're at 5 life. I don't think you could draw from the super combos.
Yeah. Oh man, that's rough.
Unless they say 5 life.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to probably shit.
The super combos are at 4 life or 5 life.
For that one.
When you draw 1, 2,
3, 4, 5. Yeah. So that's what do you want to do? Do you just want to?
I mean, I don't know. It is what it is.
I mean, either way, it's technically game.
Yeah. I mean, whether he drew or not.
Yeah.
He
I mean, even if he didn't add any more combo power to it,
and it would still be game.
I don't think it would matter. He still has those cards on board. Just call. I think that would still be kind of a game anyhow. So I just don't. I would just.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. You know, it is what it is.
His opponent has to be aware, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's just rough. I mean, I feel like even if he did call John, which obviously at this point you would just have to call a judge, but I feel like even if at this point normally what would happen is that he drew 3 cards. So his
it just depends on if he had the super combos and on if he drew into super combos. But I you know, when we're looking at this, that 2 life, you know, I don't know how much.
Even if he could combo out of this attack right here, he still has 3 more attacks, 4 more attacks to deal with. So yeah,
I think normally the opponent they just reveal the hand
and they go into the hand and take. He would just probably take the other 2 super combos because the first super combo was already shown,
right.
And then so he would just take the next 2 super combos. No, it's obviously a misplay. But it's not obviously it's not something malicious. I mean, John is in the driver's seat in this match right now. You know, it's just not he's not aware of his life. But either way, it's looking it's great.
I don't. They can. I guess you can just explain it to the judge, but either way. Yeah, he can just reveal it. I guess if he reveals his hand, I don't know if he didn't draw into any super combos, that would be fine.
But it wouldn't matter. There's no way
matter.
to tell. I mean, obviously, it's on stream. We've seen. It looked like he did draw into one, but either way, he would be able to go in his hand.
Either way, he had one super combo, so
yes.
one out attack is just pretty much game over regardless.
Right.
I mean, unless he has like 4 super combos in his hand, which
unfortunately, but yeah. Even his opponent didn't notice, obviously. The first time he super comboed from life, he did have a piano on play, which you circumvent the draw for the piano.
Well, we gotta mute us, I don't think we were muted.
Oh, okay, mute ourselves.
Yeah, anyways, guys, the judge will figure it out. But
right.
It looks like game regardless.
Yeah,
I don't
think it's so unfortunate, but it definitely looks like this is, looking at it as any type of player, you know, you can see that the game was won through this. It would have been even better, honestly, if he just would have attacked with the double strike first and then swung into him with the big pan, right? That's a huge, you know, that's a better sequence play because you have multiple single striker cards. So you always want to make sure that you can close the game out. You use your least abundant card first. So double strike is least abundant. Then somebody, yeah, you guys are toxic.
Well,
Kev bought 120. Felt like I've been taking the game state. Did one super combo come from life or was it already hand?
I don't know.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, games really. Yeah.
Hey guys, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and give us a follow. We actually, not only do we host and stream TCG Metalz monthly premiere events, but we also are the creators and owners of the House of Hype, and we have our House of Hypes usually every weekend. If you guys want some intense competitive gameplay and training, go ahead and follow so you guys can be notified when we go live for our House of Hype sessions. Also, we have a tournament structure that's going to be coming out.
The TheHillTwins House of Hype Circuit Series.
And that is going to be pretty dope. First event should be coming up
by the end of this month, beginning of January. I mean,
beginning of February. Yep, and then we got Enter the Swift. There will be some awesome new deck boxes and prize support for the House of Hype too. Exactly. So we are looking at some big things coming up, guys. Make sure you guys are following and liking, and go ahead and check out TCG Metalz. They have a website. You guys can go ahead and if you're interested in the metal leaders, I know there's going to be some broken new leaders, especially for set 16. I know you guys love it when new sets come out and you go ahead and get your new leaders. We got some Masuls and all types of other new leaders that's being created and have been created. So go ahead and check them out as well. Just great art, great quality, feels great. So we're looking back into the game. I think they got it sorted out for the most part. And let me just go ahead and make sure that non-participants, correct. I think they got that sorted out already. So
there you have it, yeah. And that's the other 2 energy, and he could single strike him to death. I mean, not to death, obviously, but to, you know, to victory.
Yeah. And he's just gonna go ahead and combo off everything. I think he gave the battle card plus 10k for the turn, right? Or plus another 5k.
Oh, so that's all he had anyway. Yeah. So either way, it was game over. And obviously these mistakes that were made. Sometimes they happen.
Good game, guys.
Good game,
guys. Good game.
Glad you guys was able to get it sorted out.
Yeah, good game, not good games.
Well,
glad you guys were able to get it sorted out. Interesting deck, StMikal. Good stuff, guys.